An expert has warned that Britain's armed forces have been exposed to the world as being weak over what's happening in Cyprus. Britain's armed forces have been left trapped, really, between a rock and a hard place after an Iranian-linked attacks near Cyprus exposed the weaknesses in the UK's military response. This is from a security expert. The incident has raised fresh concerns about Britain's ability to rapidly defend its own overseas bases during the escalating regional conflict. Incidentally, and I did not know that this was a thing, so you experts can tell me, absolutely. I saw a plane fly over today, and I don't think, I'm going to rephrase this. I don't know what I saw, but I think I saw a plane that I thought hadn't flown for years. A U-2. Was it a U-2? Are they still flying U-2s? I remember 1960s, Gary Powers. And I thought the U-2 program ended when they got the Blackbird. But I saw a plane out, and I'm pretty sure it was a bloody U-2. But there we go. Tensions escalated when RAF Akrotiri came under drone attack last week. I was flying in. I was flying in when that happened. Anyway, Britain's immediate response centred on deploying HMS Dragon, one of the Royal Navy's Type 45 air defence destroyers. But that won't get there until about 2034. Probably be all over, Like I say, it's the John Terry, and it's doing a John Terry, turning up after the game's won. It's one of Britain's 6 Type 45 destroyers. Several are currently unavailable due to repairs, maintenance, technical issues, or just can't be bothered to send it. So they are going to send this one eventually, maybe one day. But there is this guy called Anthony Gless, Professor Anthony Gless, so therefore I suspect he may know what he's talking about. He's a security expert at the University of Buckingham, and he said the situation reflects deeper structural problems within Britain's defence capability. He says it's been run down for decades. The UK does not have sufficient military strength, nor the materiel, nor the equipment, nor indeed government willingness to improve it. He says there's armoured vehicles that have never been working, that have been, just unloved and unwanted by the people they're supposed to be for. He says that politicians seem to have good ideas about what's needed and don't actually ask the military as to what's needed. And when they do ask the military, they refuse to either pay for it or refuse to pay for the upgrades. And they just get the base models, which are just not good enough. He says that the UK has to rely on the US. He says it's a shame that we have a government that doesn't really want to work with the US and is indeed alienating its oldest and biggest partner. He says Britain's military has a very uncertain future and it may not last. It's to a point where one battle and we would not have a military. Wow. Thanks very much for that, Professor. Although I completely understand where he's coming from. But seriously, are we still flying U-2s? Or at least are the Americans still flying U-2s? Because that had that looked like that was a really long wingspan. That looked like a U-2 to me. I didn't know they still flew. Jesus, they must be nearly 100 years old. 80 years old. Nearly 80 years old, imagine, wouldn't they? Anyway, there we go. Let me know. Thanks a lot.